What's going on, Scott? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. What's going on, everybody? No, I'm not playing BC on the money line. They've got their best running back out, and they've got some offensive backfield issues. I do think that they have the potential of covering the game, as I think that the departure of their coach, which was not a popular person to them, is out. I mean, I do think that they could come out there and make a game of it, as I don't think Cincinnati, who is undoubtedly the better team, will come out and play 150%, but no, I would not, because of the offensive issues of BC. I'm not going to take the chance. Not saying it can't happen. I mean, it's a bowl game, so I mean anything can happen, but I have to go off of the stats at hand. And if we just went off stats, then I mean, hell, I'd have to play Cincinnati. Yeah, but so is Dylan, and he's not playing. Let me blow this live chat up. What's up, Keith? You're saying the conference is a fraud? Are you saying that? Well, I mean, that may be. I mean, I don't think that the American Athletic Conference is a fraud, because I mean, you look at teams that have really developed into teams over the past 3-4 years that can compete on a Power Five level. Um, do I think they're at Power Five level right now? No, but that's not an argument you want to make when you're talking about them playing a team from the almost competitive conference, which is the ACC. I mean, if there's any conference which is a fraud in football, it's that one. And that's a. I mean, they've always been one. You have your Clemson and your Florida States, and Florida State's competitive once every 2-3 times a decade, and you know Clemson seems to be hanging around. But the ACC is beyond a joke in football. So even if the American Athletic Conference could be considered a fraud, which I don't think that it is, um, I don't think that's an argument anyone could make when you're talking about playing a team from the ACC. Colton, I had the fastest internet you could buy, but I had someone come out, add more routers. Like the router that I have now, just running this software could have 45 devices on it. And that was only because I had gone through 400 different people telling me that, YouTube's having issues. Chase, did you bet the Butler St. John's game this past Tuesday? I'll have to go back. I did bet Butler this past week, but I don't think it was against St. John's. But anyway, finally I talked to somebody. He goes, well, it's not YouTube. It's your internet. I said, dude, I got the fastest internet that money can buy. I can't get it any faster. So then I call my internet provider, and they're like, the only thing we can do is add more routers. And they said, we don't think that that's your issue. But I did it anyway. Just for shits and giggles. We'll see what happens. And who knows? Maybe it is. Nashville's got a good following. I'll tell you what, one of the rowdiest places that I've ever been in hockey that's not a hockey town is Nashville. Obviously, that state, that city, I mean, they're just, it's not in a hockey region. Yeah, Eric, I knew we had a top play. I think that's the last time I played Butler. The St. John's doesn't ring a bell. I think the last time I played Butler, it was on the top play, and it was a winner. What's up, Lou? I played NC Greensboro last night that was up by almost 20 at the half and then ended up screwing the pooch. I'm going over now seeing what free play I want to give out. Gave out a couple on my free play video, so if you've not watched the free play video for today, make sure you go back and watch that. There's an NBA play. There's a couple of live dogs on there. Gave out one college basketball play that I've already played. No, they love their team, and I think that it was really good for that city. I mean, it's still not a hockey town. Truth be told, anything outside of the Northeast or the Midwest or Canada, when it comes to the NHL, none of them are hockey towns. I mean, they used to consider LA a hockey town back when LA was in the Gretzky era. Then just it seems like just a few short years ago they were winning Stanley Cups. But I mean, LA is not a hockey town. It's just like Tampa Bay. It'll never be a hockey town, but those fans, I've got to say, outside of Chicago and then Detroit on a good night, which it's been rough for them the past few years. Those are places that just, I mean, you can feel that crowd days after you leave. And then you talk about places like Boston, like playing in the Garden. We just talked about Cincinnati and Boston College. I've got no money on it. Somebody asked me would I play Boston College on the money line. I said no. I have no money on the game. If I was forced to pick it, I may take Boston College just on a very slim wager plus the points, but I don't like the game. Boston's got too many offensive pieces that are out and in question. Obviously, they've got the coach that's leaving, which is a good thing. I don't know that it'll be good for this particular game. Cincinnati is undoubtedly the better team, and I think that the line's correct at -7. But once it hits 7.5, if I was going to be forced to put $100 on it, just for the hell of it, I'd probably take BC plus the points. But no bet for me. I actually think it's a pretty terrible matchup. The Tennessee-Indiana game I'm interested in watching tonight. We made a lot of money on both those teams this year. Do you have anything on Indiana versus Tennessee that you can't talk about? What do you mean? Well, I mean, as far as Indiana, we made a lot of money on Indiana this year. 5 different games where we played Indiana, 2 of which were totals plays, but they both won. Every play involving Indiana, we won this year. Every play involving Tennessee this year, we won except for the game against South Carolina. 2 of those plays against Tennessee, we were fading them, were games of the week, one of them being Georgia. And both of those won. Tennessee really turned it around at the end of the year. I think that Tennessee is definitely on an uptick that we'll see for the next couple of years. It's going to depend on their recruiting because of the fact that Tennessee was as bad as they were for a few years. Tennessee's always going to recruit well. You're going to have, because it's a football school, and it always has been, and it's in a football town, and, it's in a place where that's all those people eat, sleep, and breathe. Tennessee's always going to get good recruits. The problem is you've got these younger coaches now, especially in the SEC, like Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, and I think that it's making Tennessee really, really have to work for their recruits. If they can get a top 15 recruiting class this year overall, I see it really, really showing on the field. If not, I don't know that Tennessee is going to give this coach enough time. Like every single time they hire a coach, Butch Jones, Derek Dooley, every time they hire someone, they're like, all right, this is our guy. He goes out there, he shows you that he's making strides, but first and foremost, it's going to take him a few years to get his recruiting where it needs to be. About the time he gets it to where it needs to be, it's already been 3 to 5 years, and they let him go. Well, he's finally got his players, now let him coach. And Tennessee just doesn't do that. They think that they can go back to the Phil Fulmer days and say, okay, we're going to hire a coach. We've had a below 500 record for the past 3 years. We're going to win a national championship or an SEC, in 3 years. It's just not going to happen. Especially when you're playing in the SEC East with Florida and Georgia being as tough as they are. And then, having to play a team like Missouri that will give you a run for your money because they're recruiting the same players and they're doing a better job of it. Derek Dooley runs a great offense. He was with Tennessee. Now he's running offense in Missouri. We'll see what they do. If Phil Fulmer and that athletic department will allow a coach to come in, be there for 7 years, I think that Tennessee will be a powerhouse top 10 team. It's going to take 3 years just to turn the recruiting around. Because right now you're being out-recruited in your own conference and in your own division by your biggest rivals. You're being out-recruited by Florida, you're being out-recruited by Georgia, and you're being out-recruited by South Carolina. South Carolina had one of the most impressive recruiting classes this year that took the field from when Will Muschamp started, and they all got hurt. Had you seen a 100% healthy South Carolina team, truth be told, I think they would have given Florida a run for their money in overall SEC East standings this year. But we had Florida against South Carolina. Took them. Big premium play, or top play, excuse me. And won with Florida. But the Big Ten, they impressed me more than the SEC did this year. I think that Indiana right now is a more complete team than Tennessee is. I think Tennessee's got more talent on their team, but it's young talent. I think that a game like this means more to Indiana in the grand scheme of things because usually Indiana's not sitting here after Thanksgiving weekend playing football. They're usually at home. Tennessee, it's not uncommon for them to be in a bowl game. The only thing that makes this different for Tennessee this year is because of how bad they have been in recent years. So they want to come out, prove something, prove it against a competitive team. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even if Tennessee came out and beat Indiana by 100 points, nobody's going to be talking about it a week from now. Going into next year, nobody's going to say, oh, remember when they beat Indiana on January the 2nd? No, they're not. But if Indiana beats them, they're going to be talking about that next year because that's a marquee win in what's inevitably going to be an Indiana team that will be below 500 again soon. Indiana is just not going to out-recruit people in the Big Ten. They're just not. That top 5 recruit for South Carolina that didn't sign on signing day. I think he is rethinking. No, I think he'll sign there. I think at this point he's just doing it for media attention, builds their stock up. Thing is, usually when you have something like that go on and a coach doesn't address the media about it or says that everything's up in the air, that's when you need to be worried. Will Muschamp, as well as other people involved, all said they're not worried. They're like, this was something that was discussed beforehand, that we knew this was a possibility, but right now he's giving us no reason whatsoever to think that there's anybody out there that he's even considering signing with above us. And being that they have that relationship that they've built over the past couple of years, I truly believe that if it came down to where he was thinking about signing with someone else, I think that he would give the courtesy to Muschamp and his staff to say, look, this is what I'm thinking about, and allow them to come in and at least say their piece before he actually put pen to paper. Will Muschamp's a great recruiter. I mean, I know everybody gives him shit. That's one of the smartest defensive minds in football. He's a great recruiter. The problem is, the thing is, you can recruit the best players in the country. If they're not healthy, what are you going to do? I haven't decided that yet, Tommy. I've got a few of them circled. One of them I'm still waiting on a practice report on from yesterday. And I won't make a final decision until I get that. Which it may be in my email now, but the game doesn't go for quite a while, so I'm not going to interrupt the show yet. I'll get everything posted once the show's over. Everything's late, so I'm not going to. There was, just the 3 o'clock football game and then two early basketball games that I had no interest in, so everything else is later, so I'm not in any major rush to get it out. Yeah, I mean, you got to think. These are still kids. I mean, they're still high school kids. They change like the wind, and who knows, maybe it was their Uncle Billy that said something because he knew a guy that used to know a guy that used to. I mean, it's all. They're kids. That's why I like Will Muschamp's style of recruiting versus, some of your other top tier coaches like a Nick Saban that, only go all out of, 5-star. No, Steve Spurrier never went after 5-star kids unless they were defensive players. His quarterbacks and offensive guys were all 2.5 and 3-star kids that just were undeveloped yet. I think San Jose sucks. I think San Jose is one of the 10 worst teams in all of basketball. Or are you talking about? Oh, you're San Jose play. You're talking about hockey. Again, I don't think they're very good. Truth be told, I think Pittsburgh should steamroll them. But Pittsburgh's got some injury issues. We'll see if that comes. I mean, San Jose's got one of the best goalies in all of the Western Conference. But them playing in Pittsburgh, see this one right here, if I played anything, I'd probably have to play something on regulation. I don't want to lay the puck line with Pittsburgh. Not against a good defensive team in San Jose. I don't want to play the total because the total is spot on accurate. And I'm not going to lay $1.85. So, I mean, if anything, right now, I'd play Pittsburgh in regulation, get good value out of it, because Pittsburgh should win this game. No, I do not. And I don't have them as the number one team in the country. I do not. I've actually got them at number 6. And no, I do not think they can keep it. I think they can keep it a good majority of the year because they're going to play absolutely nobody to stay there. But eventually, one good thing about the way they rank teams in college basketball, which is a lot better than the way that the committees do it in football, is eventually somebody like a Kansas or a Duke or a Michigan State is going to come out there with one huge marquee win. And they're going to be pushed up to number 1 because of just because of how great the win was versus Gonzaga playing, St. Mary's, Catholic monastery, whatever. May have a play on that one, Colton. It's circled. I like Dan Mullen. That's why I'm glad he went to Florida. He was never going to do anything at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's nothing more than a hotbed for garbage. Florida's one of the top 5 states when it comes to just breeding overall talent. I mean, if he lived 2 hours south, he wouldn't even have to get in the car. He wouldn't even have to get on an airplane to recruit a top 5 class. Miami doesn't have to get on a plane to recruit a top 5 class. Georgia doesn't. Southern Cal doesn't. Texas, only because driving to Houston is longer than a 6-hour car ride, but we've got 39 people in here and only 9 likes. Y'all better start smashing that like button. Because I'm not giving out anything premium-wise until we hit 50 likes. Rivera, I have that game circled. I've taken some notes on it. I've broke it down. I think the line's a little steep, to be honest with you. I came out with a 7.5 point line. It opened up at 8.5, which isn't a huge deal, but you're also talking about a Rhode Island team that does not play as stout of offense on the road as they do at home. If this game was Rhode Island at home, it would have opened up, I mean, easily minus 12. And this is going to be Browns. I mean, this is going to be this is going to be true competition for them. Is Rhode Island the better team? Hell yeah. But they seem to play down to their level of competition on the road. I just don't know if they just don't feel comfortable or what. That's why I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. There's another one that's got a really inflated line. Yep, next month, spring training is here. I'm excited. I am very excited. What's up, Danny? Scott, I'm more looking towards a potential game of the year for NHL. All of the schedules within both of those sports start to go my way over the next 10 days. No, I do not bet spring training. And if you bet spring training, you are committing suicide. There's zero stats that can back up any bet you make. In spring training, rotations, anything goes. You could have a third baseman come in and take one swing of the bat and he could walk off the field. Doesn't even have to he doesn't even have to take the whole at bat. If you win spring training bets, it is nothing more than absolute luck. You could be playing the Orioles versus the Astros. And guess what? The Orioles have just as much of a chance to win that spring training game as the Astros do. I am not betting my money on single and double A boys that just got drafted and have to face 9 different pitchers in a game. Wait. Don't bet that game now. Don't worry. Clemson money's coming. It's coming. I want to. Do I personally? Yes, every once in a while, but that's only when I have time to follow it for a week. So there are times when you get slower weeks in MLB where you kind of have the same series going over and over again where I don't have to watch as many games so that I get to watch baseball in Japan. I love watching baseball in Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic. Mexico's been really good the past few years. But, like, I follow Puerto Rican baseball. I follow a lot of Latin American baseball. But unless I can sit there and follow everything for an entire week and then make my decisions, I don't bet on it. So I do a few times a year. Actually, really successful at it. Problem is, I want to bring that in to my baseball packages and start doing that. Um, the problem is, I just don't have the time. I really don't. So until I can hire someone that pulls the correct stats, knows how to fill out a true scouting report, which I know scouts that don't even know how to properly fill out a scouting report. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to add it in. Scott asked Chase, "What are your thoughts on Casey Miles as a prospect? Does he have future All Star potential?" There's two answers to that question. Does he have potential? Yeah. I mean, wasn't he the first overall pick out of Auburn 2 years ago in 18? And he's at Detroit. That's where his problem lies. He's a little bit on the short side for my liking. He stands, 5'11", 6 foot, something like that. He's the weight 220. He's a big boy. I like that. I think that he does have the potential. The problem is they're going to move him through the ranks too quickly because Detroit doesn't have an option. So when he becomes a true starter, and I'm saying like a true every 5 day consistent like household name in Detroit, the kid's got a frustration issue. And if you followed any of his time at Auburn, you could have seen that. When he gets rocked, he goes out there and tries to overcompensate for it. You can't do that in major leagues. You'll blow your arm out, or you'll just keep getting rocked worse. You're playing in a very competitive AL Central. The Indians are still going to be competitive. The Twins are still going to be good. The White Sox are making a run for it, as I told everyone 2 years ago they were going to. And I really think, truth be told, that he's going to get rocked. And when he does, we'll see how he handles it. If they mold him into a big boy ball player, then yes, he's got potential. If he lets his own personality get into the way of things, I don't see him even being in the majors 5 years from now. I think he'll get bounced around through some small market teams for a few years, and then he'll be gone. We'll see. It's hard when you talk about first round draft picks. They're the easiest. I mean, they're 50-50s for, bust potential, especially when you're talking about a pitcher. What's up, Oliver? And I was going to tell you guys, most of you probably already know, but if you haven't watched any of the free play videos the past few days, we're going to be giving away some packages for free. We're about 100 subscribers away from hitting 3,000 on YouTube. So I'm going to be giving away a couple of week packages when we hit that. Once we hit 3,500, I'm going to be doing some 30-day packages. And when we hit 4,000, I'm going to be giving away a 1-year all-access pass for absolutely free. And Danny, what I tell you the other day, I said I thought Georgia was going to steamroll them. Baylor didn't need to be there. I mean, God bless them, but let's get real. But so anybody that is already subscribed, get your friends, relatives, whoever to subscribe. And if you get 5 or more people to subscribe, all you have to do is email me, obviously, who you are and what their usernames are. And for every 5 that you get an additional 5 entries in to the contest. And the day we hit 4,000, I'm giving it away. Even if you already have a 1-year all-access pass, you can still win. And you can either extend it on for another year or you can give it away. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. But we're going to be doing that. I mean, we've got 3,000 subscribers now. I mean, if every person there just got one person to subscribe, we would have 6,000 in a day. So we should be able to be giving this away this weekend. So everybody get as many subscribers to subscribe to the YouTube channel as you can. Get them to follow the Twitter page. And that way we can start giving away a bunch of stuff. Because I'm going to be tying in the podcast marketing stuff into the YouTube channel. So before I do that, I want to get as many subscribers as we can to be able to reach out and reach as many people a day as we can, basically. Because I'm doing it all for free. So being that, we don't charge for any of that stuff, it's free information on YouTube, it's a free podcast, all that. At the very least, for compensation for it, I need to be able to market the company to as many people a day as possible. And the only way to do that and guarantee that is to have them subscribe so they get a notification every time I post something. And that way we can start having these live chats get up to 400 or 500 people at a time. Oliver, I'm going to be doing we're going to do a live show tomorrow for NFL Saturday. We're going to be doing that and doing the national championship breakdown all tomorrow. All right, we're halfway there, guys. We need 25 more likes to hit 50, and we'll do a free premium play. Let's go ahead and do a free play anyway, though. This one's just one that's not on the card. Or it's not on the card yet, I should say. Let me look which one I want to give you. Huh. Let me check one thing on this game real quick, just to see if anything's changed. And if it hasn't, I'm going to give you a dog that I like. And if nothing's changed, I'm going to go ahead and make a wager on it myself. to take a chance with a road dog here. Danny, I did. Double check the line here. What am I missing out? Last question, since it also involves the Tigers, who's going number one this year? More than likely, it'll be Casey Mize's clone, Emerson Hancock, I think his name is, out of Georgia. Very similar to Casey Mize. But I believe that he will go number one this year. Shortstop. All right. Took a road dog here that I like. And I'll be honest with you, I think the line's accurate. I really do. But truth be told, again, I'm not. Hey, Randy, maybe I did. But what was weird about it was that every time there was an issue, I was getting an error message from YouTube saying that they were having issues they were trying to solve. So I kind of let it be what it is. Talked to multiple people via email and like live tech support chats, and they kept saying that they were having issues and that once they get it fixed, everything should be fine. Being that I was not streaming via YouTube, I was using a separate software and then tying it into YouTube, which is what you have to do now. And of course, I was getting no errors on my end to make me think it was me. I just talked to one random person yesterday that was like, well, it's you. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Had somebody come out, they're like, yeah, you got the fastest internet you can buy. You can't get any faster. All I can do is add more routers to it, and so you can have dedicated things for each whatever. So I did it. Maybe it is. Who knows? We'll see over time. All right. Utah, Oregon State. I'm taking +2 with Oregon State tonight. My personal rankings, I've got Oregon State ranked 79th overall. I've got Utah down at 108. So I've got Oregon State as a better ranked team than Utah. But to be honest with you, that sounds like a lot. It's really not. That means that the teams are actually a lot closer than most people think. I think the line's accurate because, truth be told, I think Oregon State is about a point to 2 point better team. Take into the fact Utah has had a very good season. They've beaten big-name teams like Kentucky, which, again, take that with a grain of salt. Kentucky just hasn't been they've truthfully just been overlooking everybody. And I think that's what allowed for a big Utah win. Utah deserves all the credit in the world for the way they played. I just don't think that they're as good as people are giving them credit for. I think Oregon State is a little bit better defensively and offensively. Now, the fact that Utah's at home, people are going to come out for this game. It's going to be a big deal. So if everything goes based on the way you see it on paper, I see Utah winning this game by 5 to 6 points. But if Oregon State comes to play for 40 full minutes, it's going to give Utah a fit on the defensive end, and Oregon State's a faster team. So if they're playing and they're gelling well together, they're moving the ball good, then they're going to wear Utah out. And at some point, if we're seeing a game that is right there in that 3 to 5 point range, as long as there's enough time left on the clock, then I think Oregon State's got the perfect chance to come back, take the lead, and then it's going to come into foul situations. That's where Oregon State again has the advantage. They're a better free throw shooting team. They know how to draw fouls better, especially on the road. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that everything on paper situationally says that Utah should win this game, but I've got to go with who the better team is, who the faster team is, and who's the team that I think should be favored by a point and a half. So I'm going to take, or 2 points now. I'm taking Oregon State +2. It's not a premium play, but I'm going to make a half unit wager on it, 550 to win 500 at Oregon State +2. Play it if you like, but that's what I've got. All right. Irie, that is not the play of the day. I said that was a lean. Do I use any kind of software to bet on? I use William Hill. Alex, well, no plays have been released today. Hold on. I send an email every time that I post plays. Hold on. Alex, your account is perfectly fine. I'm actually in it as we speak. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Make sure I'm in the right thing. What did you say you bought on the 27th? Because I'm in your account now. Okay. What's your username? Because I'm in your account now and I'm looking at every month or every purchase that you've ever made. As long as I'm in the right account. That's what I want to make sure. Yep, that's the account I'm in. It's saying that there was a month purchase on November the 27th. And then you bought a 7-day pass on the 16th. You bought the game of the week on the 29th. You bought MLB on the 4th. And you bought a month on the 26th of November at 11:04 p.m., which would have made it start on the 27th of November. Hold on. Yeah, I've heard of him. He pops in here from time to time. Keith, they're not. Oh, that's right. Why is it not showing then? You know what it was? I know what it is. It's my fault, dude. I had put you in for the 27th, but it was still dated 2019. So when we got into 2020, that's what it was. That's my bad, dude. Hold on. I'm fixing it right now. So it's going to go until the 26th of. Boom. That's what it was. It's my fault, dude. No, the purchase that you made was in November. You purchased 1 month in November. There wasn't another month purchase. I remember the gift you were given, but the problem with that one was when I went in and added the dates, I still had 2019 as the end date. So once we crossed over into 2020, it expired you. I fixed that. You're good through the remainder of what it should be. Okay, I will. I haven't even gotten to my emails yet today. I had so many people emailing me this morning. I had too many games to go over, so I just shut it down until I got all the plays out. Plays will be out soon. You'll get an email. That's my bad. You only have to do that once a year, so I'm not used to going in and having to manually add for another year. You know what I mean? I'm still getting used to putting 2020 on stuff. All right, we are 20 likes away, and I will give you guys another free play. This one, something that will most certainly be on the card for tonight. Yeah, you had mentioned him one time before, and I didn't know who that was. I've seen him. I mean, I don't know who it is. I don't. I've just seen. I mean, a few people have asked me about it. I've seen it pop in here a few times. He tried to bet me one time on a game. It was not a winner on his side. I'll put it that way, and I haven't seen him since. So I don't know. I don't know who he is. I will say that. Never heard of him until somebody mentioned him. So, but people like that pop up daily. Here today, gone tomorrow. Paul, we actually just talked about that one a few minutes ago. That was the only issue that I've got with that game is injuries on the side of Pitt. Although, even with the injuries and even with San Jose having the better goalie in the matchup, in my opinion, I truthfully believe that Pittsburgh is the better team. Obviously, Pittsburgh being at home, I like Pittsburgh to win. I think the line is a little steep, so if I played anything on it, I would play it in regulation to get good value. Pittsburgh is not a team that I would play the puck line on often. I certainly am not going to play it in this scenario, being the injuries that they have. So if anything, I'd play them in regulation, get some decent value out of it. But it's not a game that I'm overly in love with. Be careful. Beginning of the year in hockey, crazy things always happen right after the Winter Classic, and everybody's had a couple days to kind of chill out. And then, we're getting close to that All-Star time. You're going to see some major changes being made by a lot of teams going into that All-Star break. So they're going to start toying with these changes now to see the ones that they're going to implement for the second half of the season. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't read a lot into it, though. Ho, ho, ho. Who's still in here? Where's my regulars? Danny, Colton, either of you still in here? We've been live right at an hour now. We need 15 more likes to give out a free premium play, which I want to do. We'll probably be live for another 20 to 30 minutes before we call it quits for the day, because I do have a good bit of work still to do so I can get the plays out. No, I thought it was domestic violence. If you're behind on rent, you don't need a good play. You don't need to be betting. I don't mean that as an asshole. I mean that just to help you out. You got to create a bankroll that does not affect your life. Do not bet outside that bankroll. When you get that bankroll set up, before you make a single wager, you need to pop on over to the website, buy a package, and I will take care of your bankroll and make sure that it continues to grow. Danny, run the chat for a second. I'm going to go fill this cup up. All right, 14 likes away from giving out a free premium play. There's 53 people in here right now. I don't believe that there's not at least 14 people in here that have not hit the like button. So, Danny, round the troops. I'm going to go refill this cup and take a piss. And then we'll come back, hopefully give out a free premium play, and then we'll go over some stuff that we're going to be starting the new year with. And also, you guys be thinking about like some promos or something that you want me to do. I'm not going to do them today, but just something that we can do as the new year is here. Maybe something different, something that we haven't done before, and maybe I'll start toying with those once we get into February and March and stuff like that, or even the beginning of baseball season. So, you guys think about that. I want to hear your thoughts on that as well. But okay, we're now only 11 likes away. So, Keith, Danny, one of y'all two run the chat, and I'll be back in a second. Oh, now we got 55 people in here. Let's keep it going. If anybody pops in and they want to know where I'm at, tell them I'll be back in 2 minutes. I got to piss. All right, sweet. All right, let's see what I missed. Robert, what's going on, brother? I appreciate it. I think Ohio State got screwed. I'm ready to see Zion start playing so everybody will start to shut up about him. It's raining where I'm at. Chase, don't understand the reason you never call me anymore after you and me had a great phone about great minutes in school baseball. Robert, I'm trying to figure out who you are. No offense. I mean, man, I get 100 plus phone calls a day, man. I get so many phone calls. This like here, I mean, this right here, that's my company phone. That's a personal phone. Company phone's off. I had to cut it off. It's been off since yesterday at 2 o'clock. I mean, I got people that will just call me for no. I mean, I've got people that give you an example. Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I know who you are now. I don't think he'll last that long, Brennan. I don't think he'll last that long. I don't think he's a clutch player, and I don't think he's built for the NBA. I mean, he wasn't battle tested in high school. He played for like Spartanburg Christian School. He played against a bunch of 5'6", 130 pound white boys. Obviously, he was going to be a stud. He goes to Duke. I'm not saying he didn't do good things, but let's face it, he didn't do anything overly impressive at Duke. I'm sorry, he just didn't. There were two-star players that outdid what Zion did in their freshman year. And you already come in, you have a meniscus tear. Listen, I've had 4 of them. I have one now that I've got to get worked on. That doesn't, you don't have a meniscus surgery in October and you're just now in January having your first practice. That's bullshit. I think that people know that he is not truly bred for this. He's got the size for it. I don't know that I don't know that his body's tough enough for it. And so the longer they can keep the anticipation up, keep the money coming in on him, so that way his short-lived NBA career will generate a lot of revenue, that's the reason I think that is. They're trying to do whatever they can to keep people on the edge of their seat that he's going to play this year, and he might play the last few weeks just to generate a sold-out crowd. Robert, you still got my phone number? If you do, shoot me a text later on and let me know that it's you, and we'll talk. I get people. I had somebody buy a package for me in August, a 3-day package. And they called me the other day and go, hey, do you remember me? I bought this 3-day package back in August. I'm like, man, no offense, but no, not right off the top of my head. The only people I know right off the top of my head are the people that buy religiously or they've been with me for a long time. I just, too many people to keep up with my name. And he wanted to proceed to talk to me for 31 minutes. And then at the end of it, he wanted me to give him a week. And he promised me that after that week, he would buy a month. Fuck out of here. Send me an email, Robert Chase at chasewins.com, and I'll shoot it over to you. Robert, I can see what you just posted. I'm not going to post it because I'm not going to put your phone number in this chat because you will regret it if I do. That I can promise you. But I'll write it down. You will have so many people start calling you that watch this video later on and try to scam you for shit. You got to think, this video gets put on YouTube after it's live, and the live chat stays there. So, I mean, you'll have thousands of people that see that. You don't want that. That I can promise you. That's why I refuse to put my number in here. Nope, we are not at 50. We are at 43. But there's 57 people in here, so we should be able to get to 50 in about 10 seconds. Matt, I did not. I did not. I may throw something on that under. Chase, what about Kawhi's ball handling skills this year? Obviously something he has made concerted effort to work on this past offseason. Yeah, the only thing is, it seems like the problem is in this day and age of NBA, ball handling doesn't matter. It really doesn't. They're not going to call traveling. They're not going to call carrying. They're not going to call it. So it doesn't matter if you're a good ball handler or not, unless you're going to work on the assist side of it, passing, things like that. I think that it's good that he addressed it because it needed to be addressed, but I don't think that it's going to benefit him personally. I don't think it's going to benefit his team enough for it to be a noticeable difference. But that's not taking a shot at him. That's just saying that the way the NBA is. I think it's really, really sad that the commissioner passed away. Like, I don't understand how he could have ever been booed, like, during the draft and stuff like Roger Goodell does. That dude right there, he made the NBA what it is. Like, if it wasn't for him, the NBA wouldn't exist today. It would have gone bankrupt. Nathan, we've already talked about Rhode Island. I don't hate them. I think the line's accurate. One thing that I don't like about the game is the fact that Rhode Island typically does not play well on the road, or at least up to their standard. And it seems like they don't get comfortable away from home. And that I don't, and again, take that for what it is. I'm not saying that that's the exact reason. That's just when I watch them, that's the way that I see it. So I have no money on it yet. I had it circled. If I was forced to play the game, I would take Rhode Island. But it's not a game I'm in love with. Danny, it's ridiculous, and it gets worse year in and year out. Pretty soon, they'll just stop having to dribble. They carry, I mean, they literally over and over and over and over. Back in the 90s, you carry in college basketball, you're called immediately. College basketball's even calmed down on it. What's up, Walter? Three likes away, we'll give out a free premium play. Need to get to 50 likes. And we just had 10 more people join, so I know that we can get 3 likes real quick and get us up to 50. I just got to pick out which one I want to give to you. I know which one I want to give to you. I know. I've got a college basketball game I want to give you guys. The second we hit 50 likes. Need 2 more. We're at 48. We got 63 people in here. We just had 2 more people join. So those 2 people, whoever they are, pop up. Hit that like button. Well, the traveling calls are always going to be there, which I 100% agree with. They need to. Double dribble, traveling, anything like that. The carrying thing I wish they would have kept, but I mean, you because of carrying in the 90s, hell, college basketball games lasted almost 3 hours. Boom, we're at 50 likes. All right. Let's look at this game at 8 o'clock, Tennessee Martin, Murray State. This is one where I feel like we've got a soft line. It opened up at 14. I power ranked this game. And I had Murray State at minus 17.5. I locked it in immediately at minus 13.5. Afterwards, it dropped to 13, so I put a little bit more on it. I dug deeper into the game. I think the 2 biggest – we know Murray State's a better team. And that's not going to be in question. I don't see Tennessee Martin having a chance to win this game outright. This is what Murray State's going to have to do, and this is where they have the biggest advantages. In the paint, when it comes to the offensive and defensive ends, but second chance opportunities on the offensive end is something that Murray State's not only good at, they're a top 40 team when it comes to second chance opportunities. I think tonight against Tennessee Martin, a team that size, speed, none of it matches up to Murray State. They get those second chance opportunities, even if they only capitalize on 30% of them. I think that right there could separate them and cover this spread. Truth be told, if we say that Tennessee Martin plays to the best of their ability and that Murray State plays down a little bit to competition, are they going to, be 17.5? No. I would still see Murray State winning by 8 to 10 points. But if Murray State goes out there and just plays themselves, they don't have to try to push the pace. They don't have to try to do anything spectacular. I think that this line is spot on to that. And then on top of that, you have what inevitably will probably be some early full court pressure from Murray State. That will come away. They'll break off in the first half. They'll build a little lead. They will save energy versus, doing it the whole game. They're not, they don't do it the whole game unless they have to, which tonight they will not. But this is the way I see the game playing out. Murray State comes out. They come out hot. They run a full court pressure. Some point in the first half, they're up 10 to 12 points. At that point, they back off a little bit. Tennessee Martin's going to start taking a lot of outside shots. So this can go one of 2 ways. Either it goes poorly and Murray State gets up to the 20 range by the half, or it goes well and we're seeing a game that is within 4 to 6 points going into the half. Now, after that, We get into the second half. The speed's going to get ramped up for Murray State. They're going to start being more aggressive down low. Then you're going to start seeing more second chance opportunities than you did in the first half. Like I said, they capitalize on 30% of them. That's going to be an additional 10 points outside of what the game is going to provide. And I see this game being won anywhere between 17 and 25 points based on second chance opportunity. I'm taking Murray State minus 13, premium play, over Tennessee Martin. I would lock that in because I see it getting back to 14. I mean, it's only 4 o'clock now, so we got 4 hours till tip. Al, I don't know where the damn dog is. Walter, you know that's one thing that I don't ever look at. Never have. I don't ever look at ATS records for anybody in any sport. I don't ever look at ATS because again, that's just a trend. It's not a ATS records. Truthfully, don't mean anything. They really don't. Let's say it like this. Let's say Duke's playing Stephen F. Austin like they did. Right? And they got beat outright. How many people would have seen that coming? I said to look at it. I didn't say it was a premium play. Walter, that'll kill you right there because if you look at that, I mean, you take away part of their ATS. They get beat by Stephen F. Austin. All of the people that focus on those ATS records, now we're counting Duke out from being a top team, truthfully. Certainly wouldn't have thought that they would be the number one team. I've got them ranked number one overall in the country in my system. And they were number two for 3 weeks that Ohio State held the number one position. And keep in mind, they got beat by Stephen F. Austin. They got beat. If you focus on ATS records, you're going to end up playing a team too much, and it will end up biting you. You will end up playing a team too heavy, maybe too little. You may not play a team enough. Like right now, because of a 40% ATS record, Murray State has gone out there and lost to some teams they shouldn't have. You'd probably lay off of this game. You certainly wouldn't want to lay double digits with them. I just don't think that Tennessee Martin has what it takes. And Murray State is a team. Do I think they're going to go to the tournament this year? No, I do not. But they still got some young talent. And I think that come next year, you could be looking at a team that could silently sneak up and get, a 16 seed. That's why I just don't look at ATS records. I don't care about them. That's why I'm different than most people. Most handicappers, that's all they're looking at. They're looking at ATS records and they're looking at trends. And the thing is, they'll go back and look at stuff from 3 years ago and go, oh, over the past 3 years, this team is 9-1 against the spread. Who cares? If you go back 5 years, there's nobody that played on that team that's playing today. So that record, that trend, that win, that loss, it truthfully means absolutely nothing. It means less than nothing. The only time that I will refer back to a prior season is at the beginning of a season when that's all we have to go off of. And, when I do my depth charts and my power rankings at the beginning of the season for all 353 teams, and I do this in football too, when I'm breaking it down and saying, okay, here's where I'm going to rank them going into the season, do you know that I only take into consideration stats and numbers from players that are still there? So, for instance, we'll use my man Danny here for a second. He's a Clemson fan. Well, guess what? It's not going to be too much longer. They're going to have a new quarterback under center because Trevor Lawrence is going to be in the NFL. Well, your typical capper is going to go out there at the beginning of the year and go, Clemson went undefeated last year. They went out there and completed 78% of their passes. They went yada, 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 yada. Who cares? Trevor Lawrence isn't there. So all of that shit, throw it away. So now I have no quarterback numbers. All I have are people that are returning. So like this year, the most returning starters of any Power 5 conference, can anybody tell me who that team was? Because I can tell you, it was Michigan State. So Michigan State was a team that I actually could go off of last year's numbers to create a preseason ranking. But then, once I take all of those numbers into an account, once we go and start going into week 4 and I have 3 weeks of numbers, and it doesn't matter if they're playing cupcake teams or they're playing real teams, I have 3 valid weeks of numbers, then last year truly means nothing. I don't even refer back to the year before. I already know what you're going to say, but any thoughts on a 4-point teaser on some of these smaller spread NCAA basketball games that you know are going to be tight? I'm not saying that a 4-point teaser doesn't give you an edge, but the problem is, think about a game like this. I'll tell you what, let me find one. Since you brought up a 4-point teaser, there's a game right now. I know I'll find one. Okay, right here. Here's a game right here that's 4 points. Louisiana Monroe and Troy. Louisiana Monroe's 4. They're at home. You take them on a 4-point teaser, you get them down to a pick 'em. All they have to do is win outright. That's great because they should beat this team by 4 based on the numbers. So now you get them down to a pick 'em at home. It's an even better bet. The odds are more greatly in your favor. But the problem is taking a 4-point team down to a pick 'em like that at home. Guess what? You're going to have to lay juice to compensate for it. And in college sports, you are more likely to lose this game outright than you are it fall between 1 and 3. If you go back and look at those odds, Louisiana Monroe -4 versus Louisiana Monroe as a pick'em, which means that Troy would have to win the game outright. Odds are that Troy is more likely to win the game outright than Louisiana Monroe to win by 1, 2, or 3 points. And that goes for just about any sport there is when it comes to a point spread. So you're laying the juice with it, which means what's going to happen? 45% of the time you are going to have an outright upset in one of those games that are under 5 points, or even taking a team that's -15 and teasing it down to 11. You're going to have those which the juice is inevitably going to end up biting you, and at the end of the year, when you talk about the grand scheme, you're probably going to have lost money. So I'm not saying it's a bad idea. No, I am saying it's a bad idea. Teasers are bad ideas. Parlays are bad ideas. If you've got fun money that you can throw $100 on something and you don't care if you lose it or not, it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't affect your bankroll, then go for it. Teasers are fun. Parlays are fun. Based on college odds. Go back. All right, go back. Well, it's going to be hard for you to find that. You're going to have to do a lot of digging. Okay. Yes. Oh, I thought you were asking something different. Yes. The odds that the book will give you. If you're asking about what I was saying about a team outright winning versus losing by 1, 2, or 3, in college sports, that's just a fact. Look at Stephen F. Austin against Duke. Look at Evansville against Kentucky. You could have teased them teams down all you wanted. It would have meant nothing. You know why? Because they won outright on the road. And here's the thing: you're going to tease a team like that down with Louisiana Monroe and Murray State. You won't have as much juice, but you try to tease a team like Duke, Gonzaga, Michigan State. Like Michigan State's laying 11. If you tried to tease that down to 7, you would probably pay higher juice than you would teasing down, you know, in Eastern Illinois. Oh, let's do something. Let's do something for the new year. Who took advantage of the 3-way deal that I put out for New Year's that got you all of college basketball, NBA, and hockey through playoffs for $800? How many people in here took advantage on that? I know, like Walter, you did because you're on 1 year all access, but anybody in here took advantage of that? Or just buying hockey or NBA outright for $300 versus $1,200? You just asked about Nuggets Pacers under. Go watch my free play video that I put out a couple of hours ago. I actually gave out a play in that game on the total. But, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, I'm not going to tell you what it is in this because I take an hour and a half out of my day to do those videos so that people can see them, and if they're not going to watch them, I'm not going to do them. If you're betting teasers every day, you're not a real sports bettor. That's how I love when people talk about, oh, I've released my card. We've got two 6-point teasers, and we've got a first half this and a first quarter this. Give me a fucking break. I could get my freaking daughter to do those. That means you're not breaking down a game. That means you don't take notes. That means you don't have this. And I love the one that I get now. Somebody figured out algorithm. They learned a new word, algorithm. All of my stuff is backed by algorithms. You couldn't even tell me what algorithm means. There was one goober that put algorithms in their social media bio, and I had to, gently let them know that is not the way you spell algorithm. If you can't spell it, you can't give me the definition of it, and you certainly don't know how to do one. An algorithm is created. Somebody has to create algorithms. An algorithm isn't like addition or subtraction. It's backed by algorithms. Fuck out of here. I have a finance degree. I know all about algorithms, and guess what? Algorithms aren't brought into the sports investing world. The only thing I use algorithms with is how I do the financial side of this to create what I'm going to wager on everything. There is nothing in the sports world that you are breaking down into an algorithm. You know who uses algorithm in sports worlds? General managers and financial people that have to deal with salary caps. They're using algorithms. You're not having scouts going, oh, based on my algorithm, he would be a good fit. Get the fuck out of here. I get my 15-team Peaser picks from a 9-year-old that Riggs leaves down the street. He uses harmonic patterns and moon phases. That's about how it is. I love that. People will actually pay someone to get teasers, first half bets, team totals. Get out of here. The sad thing is, you know what? Kudos to them. They convince people to buy it. The sad thing is people actually spend their money on it. I have never, and I mean never, released on a premium card a team total, a first half play, a teaser, none of that crap. No props. Props are actually pretty fun to do. And if you have the right person doing them, there are really good props you could bet just about every day. I don't look at them. You would have to find somebody that actually studies props. But the only time I bet anything like that's on the Super Bowl, one time a year. Bill Benter. That name sounds familiar, but Walter, I want to say yes, but I may be lying to you. It seemed it. He had a horse racing algorithm in Hong Kong and made 1 point. Well, that's different. Horse racing, you're going out there and betting per the odds, so you're getting every race, you're probably wagering something different. In the modern sports world where you're talking about basketball, baseball, football, hockey, all that stuff, you're not going to go out there and bet something different on every game unless you are someone who doesn't know what you're doing. Like somebody that has a unit system. We want you to bet 2 units here, 5 units here. We've got a 10 unit here. Man, get out of here. Like there was someone that created out of San Francisco, and I don't remember what he did for a living, but he came up with some financial algorithms for casinos to figure out what money they need to continuously take without being worried about it, and stuff that they need to maybe limit to run the risk, to ease the risk of what they're taking by taking these large bets in. And it's like he said there's no financial backing ever. Any day you want to break it down, that somebody coming in wagering different amounts on the same day for different games is ever going to make money in the long run. So take as much money from them as you can. Let them bet whatever they want, because they will most certainly lose. The people that come out there every day, bet multiple things every day, and will always consistently lay the same amounts, no matter the sport, no matter the day, no matter how many they've got, those are the people you need to worry about. Because if they are actually good at what they do, then they will take you for a ride in a year's time. Walter, I've thought about it, but you got to understand, like, I get people that email me every day and go, hey, man, you want to, I'm a capper. You want to hire me? You want to pay me this? And, I had one guy tell me he wanted to charge me $75. He goes, I'm going to send you plays. If they win, you send me $75 a piece. I was like, you, sir, kiss my ass. I only charge $99 for someone to get a full week of my plays. If you think that I'm going to pay you $75 a pick, you're out of your mind. I am not superstitious. I'm superstitious when it comes to Cubs games. But that's just because I'm a fan. But no, not when it comes to, seems like you are one of the only sports betting guys that doesn't use units. I don't. Units are a death trap. It's been mathematically proven. The people that use them, even the veterans in this industry that use them, they lose. Hell, they publicly lose. But let them win one of their high unit bets. You'll hear about it for weeks. Guess what? I won a game of the year in late May on the White Sox. That's like me mentioning that every day. No, it wasn't. I get people every day that want me to hire them. I tell them no. If I get somebody that I've heard of before, then I tell them, sure, you can send me your plays. I want detailed write-ups. I want your financial records showing that you bet them. And I also want to see your method of wagering on them so I can see what you do and that you actually make a living doing this. And I will scout you for 1 full year, and then we will sit down and make a decision. Most of them are like, oh, no, man, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been doing it longer than you. And they won't provide any information. So I'm just like, nope, not interested. You can't prove something to me for a year. I mean, why do you need the money so bad? You should be making your living off of wagering on the games. All you're doing is sending an email once a day. Georgia will probably never make gambling legal. That was something in their like state laws from way back when. So they may be one of the only states in the union that never do it. But the good thing is they border South Carolina and Florida, and both of those will have whatever they need. Exactly. Have you heard from Steve Stevens' Fat Fuck Baseball shirt recently? Nope. Not since 2018 when I royally ripped him a new one publicly and proved that he knew absolutely nothing about baseball. Steve Stevens comes and trolls my channel every once in a while and posts a comment and tells me to go back to the military. And I'm like, dude, first of all, why would you talk shit about someone being in the military? But I was never in the military. Never have been. And unless they come back with the draft, I won't be. I have no desire to be. But, I mean, that's the last thing that I would do is ever dog someone for being in the military. If anything, everybody should be thanking those people. But, like, as he's like, you should go back to the military, you fucking army brat weasel. I'm like, dude, even if I was, why would you say that? Why wouldn't you be like, oh, by the way, thank you for your service. But, by the way, kiss my ass. I just don't get it. People that would actually dog someone for being in the military should be shot in the face. But I wasn't in the military. That's why why does he keep saying, I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, why do you keep saying go back to the military? I've never been to the military. Hey Chase, how much of your bankroll should you use for a unit? That's really up to you, Kenneth. I consider 1 unit in my bankroll to be a dime. So on every premium wager, I bet to win 1,000. Whether that's laying 1,100 to win it, whether that's laying 1,400 on something like a hockey game to win it. Daily top plays, I bet to win 3 dimes. Plays of the week, 5 dimes. Plays of the month, 7 dimes. Plays of the year, 10 dimes plus, depending on what profit I'm in that year for that particular sport. It's really up to you. That's a decision you have to make. If it were something where I was making the decision for you and you had a $100,000 bankroll, then I would tell you that one of your units needs to be $1,000. Needs to be 1%. Skip as Chase, do you guarantee profit on packages purchased? Absolutely, but here's the deal with that, Skip. When you purchase a package, at the bottom of every day, you will see at the bottom of it, you have your premium plays, and then each day you'll have your daily top plays. At the bottom of the screen, you will see it every day. It never changes. It is how you are to bet your premium plays, which I don't care what you bet on them. But you are to bet the same exact amount every single day, every single premium play for however long your package is. And if you make enough within, if you're on a year or a month and you want to step up, that's fine. And you can, but once you step up, you have to consistently be that. You're going to bet 3 times that amount on your daily top play. So if you're betting to win $100 on every premium, you have to bet to win $300 on every daily top play. And yes, if in that package, 3 days, 7 days, month, year, whatever, you were not to turn profit, then you automatically get extended until you do. But there is no getting past me on it. You can't say, oh, well, on this, I actually lost a little bit of money, because the thing is, if there are weeks where, like, you bought a week and I turned profit, then if you followed the system, you most certainly did too. If you lost money, you did not follow the system, and you will not be extended. It's very odd that I have to extend people. I mean, the one things that I extend people on the most is if they buy a 3-day package, and that's only because it's only 3 days. Yes, that's got the best chance of not turning profit. But I can tell you this: I have sold a few thousand 3-day packages, and I haven't even extended 100 of them. Nope, it's till it's in the green, Skip. So if it takes 3 weeks, you get it for 3 weeks. But I'll tell you this: if you really, really want to take this seriously, and I'm not telling you not to buy a 3-day package. Most of the time, 3-day packages are sold to people that they know nothing about me. They've heard about me from somebody and they want to try me out, so they do it. But even most of those people start with a week, because you get more days. Think about it. You get 3 days for 50, or you get 7 days for 100. So you're basically getting an extra day by buying the 7-day pass. But I tell people, if you have plans of taking this seriously, and I'm giving you the guarantee, what I would do is start with a 1-month pass. Buy it, $3.99. You're paying $100 a week. You can't beat it. I'll turn you profit. And if you're betting, I mean, as long as you're not betting $20 a game, then I'm going to make you enough in that first month for you to turn around and be able to buy, or at least buy half of a 1-year all-access pass just with winnings. And then you can buy that, and you won't have to worry about it. You get every single thing I release on my site for 365 days. And you can buy it with winnings instead of taking your hard-earned money for it, or money out of your bankroll. For your initial investment, your month, you need to take money out of your bankroll. That's how it works. I'll make you your bankroll money back. We'll start turning some profit. And then at the end of it, you'll say, okay, I've made X amount of dollars. I'm going to take this. I'm going to buy the 1-year all access. And then boom, for the next year, you're going to be making money. Speaking of that, I got people that owe me money. We'll see if they were trying to scam me out of it just to get something for free or not. Skip, who you using right now, if you don't mind me asking? Or are you using anybody? Colton, I'm hoping that it will. I don't. The only time you can ever, or the only sport you can really ever make a decision like that days ahead of time is football, because nobody's, they're only playing once a week. But in sports where they're playing, 3, 4, 5 times in a week, then obviously not in college basketball. But when you're talking about them playing every other day in a major sport, I'm eyeballing a play. I have to usually get to the day of that play, see what's happened, um, you know, in the previous days before I can make a decision. Yes, I still have the game circled, and I hope that it goes through. I have not had a big play of the week, month, or year in NBA yet this year. Usually we've already had a play of the year by this time, because we have two in NBA every year. We have two in NHL every year, two in baseball. The only sports that we have one in are college basketball, which we haven't had a play of the year yet, and then both footballs, which we've already done our plays of the years there. Both of those were winners. So I'm waiting on them. We have done a play of the month in hockey, which we won. We've done two plays of the week that were 1 and 1 in. So I'm looking forward to stepping out on NBA and hammering something more than 3 dimes. But I'm also not going to force it just because we haven't had one. If we only end up having one this year, hey. What's up, Tony? Skip, is there anything in particular that you're looking for? I mean, I can say all day which package I think you need to buy, but until I really know what your end goal is, it's hard for me to say. What's up, Jerry? Somebody give me a 5 dimes line on that Oregon-Colorado game. I'm going to take a small play on Oregon money line. Colorado's got a nice home court advantage here, and I think defensively they're going to play them very tough. But until Oregon shows me something different, I have no reason to believe that they're not exactly as advertised. They're a good team. And based on all the numbers, and what's going on so far this year, I think the wrong team's favored. So I'm going to take a chance with another dog on Oregon on the money line outright. Another road dog. If they fire Gus, they're stupid. Gus has done a good job. He's got one of the toughest recruiting jobs in the country. He wins. I mean, he hasn't done anything to justify being fired. If you use Bitcoin, it's incredible, Matt. You could cash out 10 grand and have it within a matter of minutes if you use Bitcoin. I mean, and to get a check or anything like that from them is not bad. You just have to wait. They have no problem paying. But, I mean, I've had to wait upwards of 4 weeks on a check before. So I use Bitcoin. I mean, I use William Hill more than anything. I only use 5 dimes, for certain things. I use them, I don't know. I mean, I probably run 10 grand or better through 5 dimes a week. As far as an online service, they're the best in my opinion. They're the one I like using. Dick Butkus is the best football player of all time. Okay. Whatever you say. I just placed a nice little wager on a game that's starting here in just a moment. Rome, get the fuck out of here, dude. Can only imagine where you're. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. I got to get plays out. So I need to go read a few practice reports, a couple of skate around reports, so I can do it all at once because I'm not going to be posting stuff at different times today. When everyone gets an email from me stating that the plays are ready, that's every play. But one that I'm not going to put on the card just because I don't have time because of the time that it starts. But I was concerned about one player's status. I now have confirmation. The only thing was, Zion Williamson, the best player in the league, the one that's never played before. Dude, get the fuck out of here, seriously. Everyone knows who you are. And if you'd like me to, I can take your IP address real quick. You're probably going to go jag off. All right. We definitely know who you are now because you can't spell. And if you'd like me to, I'll go ahead and post your IP address real quick that shows your physical address on it if you'd like. Be careful who shit you pop into, man. You give out more information than you realize. But because I got the information so late, I'm not going to try to post it on the card because by the time I do that and send everyone an email, there's going to be a lot of people that probably would not get to play it. So I just bet it. I actually bet it with a local guy just because of the time restraints. But I'm taking Liberty minus 13. Oh, Jerry. Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? All right, so guys, another play that I just played, Liberty minus 13. The only reason it's not going on the card as a premium play is because of time restraints. I have been waiting on some information about one player that was in question, and I literally just got it 5 minutes ago. So I don't have enough time to add it to the card, and then, once I email everybody, which that doesn't take any time at all, but that's only giving them about 15 minutes to log in, get the play, and bet it. And I don't like putting stuff out that doesn't give people at least a full hour. So I am playing Liberty, minus 13. I see a couple of 12.5s out there, but it's not sites that I use. So if you can get it at 12.5, good for you. But Liberty minus 13 is something that I put a normal premium wager on. I just didn't get to put it on my card because it took me about 4 hours to get that information. So if you want to play it, go for it. There's you another premium play. Colton, correct. To be honest with you, I liked the play earlier, but I wasn't gonna, play it with a missing piece just because it is Liberty, and I mean they're certainly not the most trustworthy team out there. So, but I'm okay with it now. Win or lose, I'm okay with the bet because I'm on the right side of it. Now all they got to do is step up and play. But that's it, guys. Send me an email if you got any questions. If you are not... Yeah, I mean, if you live bet it under, I think that it wouldn't be a bad idea. There's weather's shitty up there right now. But if you guys are not on a package, week, month, something like that, I'll tell you what. And if you've never been with me before, if you've never bought a package from me, shoot me an email, and I'll send you a coupon code to get you a discount to get your first month's package. But there you go. All right, I got to get to work on getting these plays out, guys. If you are on my packages or if you're getting ready to purchase one, stand by. They're coming out soon, and you will get an email the second that they are posted. And then I will get everyone's emails answered. And I'll be back tomorrow, and we will go over the college football championship game breakdown as well as what we think for NFL for Saturday. Later, everyone.